Hello, this is Alex, and this video is going to be for all those gamers out there who might have missed out on some great games from this year, or are simply waiting it out to pick them up on sale to be more cost effective. I'm going to be showcasing some of my favorite games of the year so far that are now on sale for a pretty generous price. Now, some of these prices may have fluctuated since I wrote this, so bear with me on the exact details, and this is all also based on the American USD. I will have links in the description to some of these sales for each game I'm about to highlight. They are not affiliate links, so feel free to do your own investigating to find the best deals out there. Towards the end of this video, I will also be mentioning some even more recent titles and indie games that I also recommend that, although might not be on sale right now, I'm almost positive that most will be with this upcoming Black Friday holiday season coming up, so keep an eye out for those when those sales go live. Now let's finally dive into some of the best discounted games you can already find from 2019. If for some reason you missed out on one of the best remakes of all time when it came out back in January, Resident Evil 2, even if you have no nostalgia for the original, it's still what I would consider to be the pinnacle of the survival horror genre. Although it's not absolutely terrifying, which I actually appreciate, its focus on combat, exploration, and puzzle solving is a breath of fresh air in the wake of the more passive horror games of the last few years. I'm really hoping we see a paradigm shift in survival horror games from here on out because Resident Evil 2 Remake has reinvented the genre. The campaign needs to be played at least twice, perhaps even more if you want the full story, which made it already a great value proposition when it launched, but you can now find it marked down for roughly $30 on PS4 and Xbox One on each of their respective digital stores, Amazon, and GameStop. At the time of making this, it's also marked down on Steam until November 1st, but will likely be marked down again around the holiday sales, so for many of the following games, PC players just keep an eye out for those big digital sales in November and December. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition is what I would consider to be the third best Tales of game, right behind Tales of Grace's F and Symphonia, which is still quite the achievement since there are many games in the series. Although this entry has a pretty slow and somewhat clunky start with its battle system, give it some time and you will grow to appreciate how the combat mechanics themselves actually improve as it becomes far more snappier and responsive the more your character levels up. The entire adventure is quite large with tons of unique locations to explore, and although still quite story heavy, it does have slightly better pacing overall when compared to some of the more recent outings. If you never played it when it originally came out or with the remaster this year, it's a great action RPG journey that should not be missed, especially if you have a lot of free time on your hands. You can find Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition around $25 to $30 on Xbox One, PS4, and Switch at places like Amazon, Best Buy, and GameStop. Devil May Cry 5 is the amalgamation of 2 decades worth of over-the-top action games fused into one crazy journey featuring 3 main characters that all play drastically different from each other. If you just singled out one of the 3, you would still be looking at one of the most in-depth combat systems of all time, and yet they have graced us with 2 additional different alternatives with just as much nuance. Although playing the older DMC games will somewhat help with the story here, it's not completely necessary and it's still quite easy to understand the overall narrative, but let's be honest, if you're picking this up, it's probably for the combat. You can find Devil May Cry 5 on Xbox One and PS4 around $30 at their respective digital stores and at GameStop. God Eater 3 is a Monster Hunter style boss focused action RPG with everything from overall speed, style, and ludicrous weaponry cranked up to the max. If you've tried to get into Monster Hunter before but found it somewhat too slow or cumbersome for your liking, you might actually prefer God Eater's approach to combat that plays out more like a traditional hyperspeed action game. Although not nearly as much attention to detail and variety of the monster designs when directly compared to the series it takes inspiration from, it does however deliver on a more traditional JRPG campaign that has a steady overall progression through it on top of its multiplayer elements. You can find God Eater 3 on PS4 around $30 at Best Buy, Amazon, and GameStop, but it's not marked down much if at all on PC and Nintendo Switch yet, but I feel it definitely will be soon. If you missed out on Kingdom Hearts 3 earlier this year, you're probably not a die-hard Kingdom Hearts fan, but that's okay, neither was I. But even if you never played any of the previous games, you can simply just jump in here and enjoy the fun action RPG adventure that this game provides. I only played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 for the first time a year prior to this, and only somewhat understood the straightforward yet convoluted story, and still easily enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 3. Although its story is infamously complicated at this point, don't let that intimidate you because it's really more simplistic than anyone else would make it seem. The world designs here look amazing, the combat, although semi-automated, still quite enjoyable from a sheer spectacle standpoint, and the final few hours are worth the price of admission alone. You can find Kingdom Hearts 3 on PS4 and Xbox One for around $30 on Amazon. The Division 2 is the third-person shooter campaign of the year in my opinion, which just so happens to have an online ecosystem wrapped all around it. The gunplay is smooth, precise, and has a little more nuance to it than you would initially think. When directly compared to similar attempts at online RPG shooters, this has an absolutely staggering amount of content at this point in time. You can easily play it alone like an open world shooter, take it on with a buddy like a full co-op game, or treat it like a light MMO and dedicate as much time as you could possibly want. You can find The Division 2 on PC, PS4, and Xbox One for around $20 to $30 on their respective marketplaces and on Amazon. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. What can I say about near perfection? But seriously, if you've not taken on this amazing stealth action experience, you definitely need to. Perhaps you have not enjoyed the combat in previous Souls-like games from Software. Well, this actually plays so much different than those that all us diehards actually had most of our muscle memory actively work against us here in Sekiro. Combat has much more of a rhythm and defensive focus this time around, which when combined with the fine-tuned enemy encounters, provides some of the best sword fights in all of gaming. Not only is the combat excellent, but the overall level design is just as impressive and memorable as what From Software is regularly known for. Although one of the least marked down games on this list, I would still easily recommend this title even above its full price point for its level of quality, but you can now pick it up on PS4 and Xbox One for around $40 on Amazon and at Target. World War Z was one of the more surprising titles of 2019, especially for being based off a licensed movie and book. This is a 4-player co-op zombie game, somewhat along the lines of Left 4 Dead, but just in third person. I appreciated that the design team smartly integrated the zombie pile gimmick of the movie into a few interesting elements of the gameplay itself. The sheer number of zombies on screen at certain key places are some of the most awe-inspiring and intimidating moments in any horde-based game I've played. If you are in the mood to chill out and kill the undead with some friends, definitely consider picking up World War Z on PC, PS4, and Xbox One for around $20 to $30 on their respective stores and on Amazon. Rage 2 I feel was the game that was easily missable this year, but it's been patched up and greatly improved since launch. It's quite fun if you go into it expecting a solid core first-person shooter, but if you're thinking it will be a huge advancement for the open world genre, you'll definitely not find that here because it's fairly repetitive by nature. It's really all about checking off boxes on the map by killing and blowing up everything in sight. If you prefer games with a focus on the main gameplay above all else, picking up Rage 2 on sale right now is definitely the way to go. You can find Rage 2 for around $30 on PS4 and Xbox One on their digital stores, Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, and a few others. Greedfall is another very unassuming game from this year because it surprises with a highly detailed world, a decent combat system, interesting story elements, and a great sense of overall adventure. There are a few shortcomings here and there, especially in the limited enemy variety, but if you can make it past that main issue, you'll actually find one of the most Dragon Age-esque experiences of the entire year. Although I highly recommend the PC version, PS4 and Xbox One gamers can find it slightly discounted around $40 on Amazon. Those are all the games I could find on discount right now that I've played that I all thought were good to great quality, but I do have some quick suggestions that are still at full price but will likely be discounted for Black Friday, so keep an eye out for Super Mario Maker 2, Astral Chain, Ni no Kuni Remastered, Anno 1800, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Control, The Surge 2, Sea of Solitude, Earth Defense Force Iron Rain, The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3, Code Vein, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Remnant from the Ashes, and The Outer Worlds. As far as some indie games to look out for this coming discount season, I recommend Wargroove, Dark Devotion, Cadence of Hyrule, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, Eagle Island, Effie, Katana Zero, Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark, Indivisible, Valfaris, Rad, Minoria, Sea Salt, Islanders, Streets of Rogue, Blasphemous, Blazing Chrome, Creature in the Well, Hell is Other Demons, and Children of Morta. Yes, I play a lot of games each year, and those are just the good ones. Those all get my non-official official seal of approval at pretty much whatever price point you can find them at in the future. That's all I have for you today, and if you happen to enjoy my style of content, consider subscribing for more, ringing that little bell icon if you already are, and you can also find me on Twitter at BoomstickAlex. A special mention to these top supporting YouTube members and patrons who really help to keep this individually owned and operated channel going. As always, this has been Alex from Boomstick Gaming, and thanks for watching.